let's start with the 49ers.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance traded off like during drives over the weekend.
Yes.
That was new. That was unexpected. So I'm going to ultimately ask you what you would do there in each one of these situations. But what did you think about that mix and how Kyle played that?
I wasn't sure. I guess the first thing that jumped, I didn't know if we would see that like in the preseason. I thought maybe it might be something that he held out to the regular season and kind of just unveiled it and was like, yep. I mean, you heard all the chatter, but here it is. There's Trey Lance. But I think either way, like any obsessed coach, they're type A. They worry about everything. They don't want to just unveil it in week one. One thing that jumped out to me about preseason week number 3, you saw some teams, and I want to go, no, we might have thought they were going to play this way, but they're playing this way, and this is what they're going to do. They showed you in preseason game 3. That was a dress rehearsal, and they're going to be their new thing. So, hey, I'll go back to what I said. I've said 2 things all along, all right? From the get-go, I've always, we can go back to spring, I said I thought it would be Jimmy Garoppolo starts, and they're going to have a package for Trey Lance in every game. I said that all the way. We got an early training camp, and the way some talk was going, the first game by Trey Lance, and I went, I don't know, maybe Trey Lance can do this. Maybe Shanahan needs to just throw him out there and start the Trey Lance era. Stop all the bullshit of back and forth quarterbacking and all that type of stuff. But I think between the first preseason game, which was solid against the Chiefs, had that game plan 80-yard touchdown pass, but then preseason game number 2 against the Chargers, and then preseason game number 3 yesterday against the Raiders, you can't start Trey Lance yet.
What's the biggest reason you say that?
You can't trust Trey Lance in obvious passing situations yet. And like if you could be in trouble in that aspect, and just where, hey, listen, like we've talked about, he hasn't played a ton of football. He's learning how to be a pocket passer, learning how to make certain throws in the NFL. But we've seen one thing we've seen consistently through 3 games is open receivers missed.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
and he was under 50% yesterday.
Under 50%.
In the preseason.
I know. Exactly right. It's going to be base looks, and some of the misses were like, whoa, he's wide open, and you missed him. So, that's where I think you can't start him. But what Shanahan did yesterday, I think, is a true picture of what you're going to see early on in the year, or at least till Jimmy G falters and they feel like Trey Lance now can, pick it up, and he's good in the offense and knows how to drop back pass and do all those things. But I don't know how Shanahan could trust him to be the starting quarterback. I mean, you got in a few first third downs.
Yeah.
We've seen it's been borderline a few times disaster to where I think that would scare him. Right. I think this is the right approach, what we saw yesterday, and it's going to be a handful for teams to defend.
A couple of things. If you're not watching with us, if you just listened, we just ran the graphic of what they both did during the 3 preseason games. Garoppolo, I think 10 for 16, basic but efficient.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, not only under 50% yesterday, 6 out of 13, he's under 50% the entire preseason.
Exactly right.
And at times, and I think you've done a nice job of pointing this out the last couple of seasons we've been doing this, numbers don't mean everything. They can be misleading.
Definitely.
But in the preseason, if your quarterback's less than 50%, it's at least a little bit of a red flag.
No doubt.
Another one that jumps out to me, and no matter what kind of offense a team is running, I'd love to look at yards per attempt. And it should be around 7-ish.
Sure.
If you're pushing 8 or 9, that's great.
Yes, right.
If you're down around 7, it's acceptable. Threw the ball 13 times yesterday for 46 yards.
Yeah.
In any offense, whether it's August or December, that's really bad.
Yeah.
You don't call 13 passes to average less than 4 times per those attempts. So,
3.5 yards per attempt.
As Pete chimes in. Yeah, exactly, Pete. Thank you for that. So I agree you can't start him.
Yeah.
You think this might be the start of something, though, using both of them. Do you think it'll be as extreme, as radical as like during the same series, or from one series to the next, or just like, okay, he's going to play 2 series in this game, maybe one in the first, maybe one in the third. How do you see that playing out?
I think it's going to play out like we saw yesterday.
Really?
I don't think they'll be like, hey, here, this is your whole series. I don't. I think he's going to try to do this.
Would be so new.
I know. And listen, I'll say this right off the bat. Like, hey, there's risk, and I'm going to hit on that in a second.
Yeah.
But as I said today to Florio on PFT, if there's a guy in football who can pull this off, it's Shanahan. Shanahan, first off, we know how creative he is on the offensive side of the ball. One thing you could say about Kyle Shanahan, whether you like him or not, I don't really give a damn. The one thing we know is players love him. You can't find they cut players and they're like, thank God for the 49ers taking me. Kyle's awesome and he's a genius. Like, they just cut you. but he's still a genius. Like, so it tells you Kyle has a special way to communicate. He has a special way to sell things to his football team. I know that about him. That's a little thing I think he stole even from John Gruden, if we wanted to really get into the weeds there a little bit, where if Gruden had a new play, he was going to have a tape and show it to the offense and go, this is why we're going to run this play, and this is why it makes sense, and you get the team to buy in. Shanahan's going to do the same thing. We know the team likes Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's going to explain to them and show them true schematics. Even guys that are like, I don't give a fuck about these schematics. What is he talking about? He's going to show them to go, wait, this is why I got Trey Lance in. Look at the bind we're putting this defense in. Look at this backside linebacker, all the things he's got to worry about.
And we saw that where he was really working that run-pass option,
no doubt.
Keep the ball, hand it off.
Right.
College-ish.
Guys, Lamar Jackson-ish.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Go.
We saw hey, Mostert offset to the left.
Yep.
There's Trey Lance. He gives the ball to Mostert, but also, so Mostert's running the right, but the right guard and right tackle pull left in case Lance wants to keep the ball, and now he's got two lead blockers if the look is right. So that is going to be a handful for teams to go. And then Shanahan, come on, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. He's going to have some real, I'm sorry, Kristen, for this one, some real for everybody to deal with. That's a new word,
I
right?
haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's some real like, I don't know, we're fucked. I don't know what the hell to do here. Like, he's going to have something else to that, just knowing him. It's not just going to be, we got Lamar Jackson plays and we're good.
Yeah.
So that's scary that way. I do think this is what we're going to see, though. I don't think you're going to just see, like, Trey, you take a series.
Okay.
Jimmy, you take a series. To me, that's riskier than what they're doing here.
Yeah.
I think you stay in a better rhythm as a quarterback a little bit if it's like, okay, I'm in the game, I had two plays. If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, okay, now I'm off for a play or two, but I'm right back in again, okay, and I was on the sidelines for a second. I would rather that.
I kind of think the other way.
You do?
I think it would be best case scenario for Trey Lance.
Right.
Like, what? I don't have to have the entire game.
Yeah.
I can come in and just do my thing. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Right.
Sign me up. If you're Garoppolo, you're a veteran. If you're 3 out of 4, you don't want to see that other guy come jogging in.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Want to keep it going.
I hear you. I get that. I mean, there's definitely. Listen, this is why this is not perfect. This is not going to be perfect, and there is some risk to this as well. I guess the other thing I say to what you're saying, because I know what you're saying. You're right. You're in a good groove. I want to do this, whatever else.
Yep.
But I would also go, man, if they do play Trey Lance for 2 series, there you are on the sidelines for 2 series, just standing there.
Yeah.
So that stinks. And then my ultimate point would just be, I think you're more of a pain in the butt to the other team with switching him. Like,
I'm glad you took it there.
That's
Keep
where
it
I
going,
think. You know what I mean?
I certainly have a follow-up there.
That's where I would be like, because now, Trey Lance is in. All we got to do is think about Trey Lance and his plays, and that's what he does. Okay. Now, if you're doing both, you're like, wait, Jimmy Garoppolo, play action, boots. Oh, no, Shanahan run scheme. Okay, we're all over that. Hey, here, what's the call, defensive coordinator? Oh, okay, under China, cover 1. Okay. Oh, wait, Lance is in? Oh, no. Wait, okay, guys. And now you have to make a bunch of different calls and make everybody else aware of now like a totally different skill set. So that to me would be maybe more of an advantage you would get by doing that. And also I think you're not putting as much pressure on Lance either by playing it that way, their way. So it's a tough one. I'm not saying it's perfect.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to think about. I didn't think of this as an option. You and I did talk last week about the possibility of Trey playing couple 3 series in the traditional way, even though it doesn't happen much if you think about quarterbacks sharing time. I never thought about them playing on the same series. And one of my first thoughts was, okay, Chris has made this point that it's over. This thinking that you're screwing with the D coordinator by playing a running quarterback. There are running quarterbacks all over the league. This isn't 10 years ago. This isn't 4 years ago.
Right.
They're used to this. But if you reshuffle the deck and say, okay, I understand that. I understand if we roll out Trey in the second quarter, it's not really a surprise to you, and you're used to playing against running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
If you do it throughout a series,
Right.
that hasn't been done.
Yes.
That's new,
That
may indeed, to the f***age point, mess with the other defensive coordinator. He's like,
I think so.
Okay, I don't know how to handle this series.
I don't know what to expect here. I kind of just got to sit back and wait and see what he's going to do with the quarterbacks here.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have a feel for, probably down in distance all the time of when it's going to happen. I mean, I don't think they're going to take Garoppolo out on third downs and be like, Trey Lance, you're in here on 3rd and 8.
Yeah.
But if it's 3rd and 3, he might.
Yeah.
Because now you still have the threat of the run. He could boot, quarterback keep, whatever else. So there's that aspect of it. But I think, like, to what you're saying, that's where we're going. Like, I brought up the point to Mike today. I do think people are a little bit like, oh, gosh, you got to prepare for both. And I want to be like, listen, I know that's a pain in the butt. But, like, we can go Patriots, Bills, Ravens, Saints, Cardinals, Eagles, Bears to a degree if Justin Fields gets in there, and we've seen it from Mitchell Trubisky. Seattle with Russell Wilson at times, I know it's not as much. Dallas did it with Dak Prescott. They probably won't hear early in the year. And even Houston with Deshaun Watson. They all had quarterback design runs. So this is not like it's going to be like, oh, no, we've never seen this before.
It's not a new concept.
But it's going to be Shanahan, which to me is going to be more creative. He's going to have to find a few ways for the fuckage. Sorry, Kristen, it's the last time I'll say it. Okay? With that on defenses, I believe. And, Florio brought up the good point with, like, he was just going, yes, but, it's still, like you're saying, those other teams, it's one quarterback. So but now it's two different mindsets between, like, what you're saying. It's Garoppolo, it's Lance, and I think that's where it could be interesting. Now, there's risk, too.
To me, the risk comes down to one person.
Yeah.
And I believe Kyle Shanahan would have a great time and pull it off.
Yeah.
As I said, I think it's best case scenario for Trey Lance. And I think the entire team would buy into it. I think they'd be excited about it. One person, I think, will make this work or not work if they do it, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Of course.
It's so against what a guy who's almost 30 years old with that many starts wants to do.
Incredible pressure on him. He's in a no-win situation to a degree. I mean, it's tough. I mean, he can win. I mean, I get that. But again, as I've made the point before, this is different than Drew Brees and Taysom Hill. I mean, Drew Brees is like got the key to the city of New Orleans, is well-established, Hall of Famer.
They weren't doing it within the same series.
Exactly right. And they might have been, but it was at a point where it was like, okay, like, I'm content with my career.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the man still.
It was Drew's
and
team.
this guy will help us out and win this. Like,
different.
Garoppolo is not established like that. People are foaming at the mouth and now to replace him and start the Trey Lance era. And that's where, again, that's where this could be dicey too, especially for a team like that I do believe is a Super Bowl legit contender.
Right.
This is where you can divide a fan base, divide a locker room. Oh, Jimmy G has a few bad series or whatever, and then those plays they sprinkled in with Trey Lance were really good, and all of a sudden everybody's booing Jimmy G, and that start Trey Lance, and that's the problems that I would worry about a little bit.
He could also be 6 out of 8 and rolling, and Trey could come in and go 0 for 2 or 1 for 3.
Fumble the ball, do something like that, whatever.
Right. Doesn't mean he can't play, but it very well might happen. And that will put Kyle in a tough spot.
That is going to put Kyle in, because then everyone's going to go, well, Jimmy G was hot. Why did you do that? You took him out of his rhythm. And you put the young guy in after he was hot and he fumbled and you lost the game. So that's what they're going to have to deal with. Now, they made their bed.
What would you do?
I think I would do what they're. I would do what they're doing.
What they did. I think it was yesterday.
Yes, what they did yesterday.
Sunday.
Yes, I would. I am. I think you got to keep the big picture in mind. You've heard me say from the start, like, you can't just let Trey Lance sit on the bench. He hasn't played enough football. He's got to play a little bit, especially with everything you traded away for him. And I think I favor this aspect more than the you take 2 series, you take 2 series. I think that will take an offense out of its rhythm as compared to, hey, here's Jimmy outside zone. Here's Jimmy play action pass. It's first down. Here comes Trey Lance in. Oh, gosh, Lamar Jackson play. Boom, first down. Jimmy's back in.
Right.
I think you're better off that than, hey, Jimmy, sit on the bench for 2 series. And if he's on fire, he might go in for a 3rd series. He might have to sit there.
Right.
But if he shits the bed here, you might have to go in after this first series. Like, that to me is annoying too. So I think he's onto something. We'll see if he can pull it off.
The Lions next 2 weeks just changed.
Yes.
Because I think that's who they play.
They do.
1,
Lions and Eagles, first 2 games for them.
Okay.
Yeah, on the road.
Yeah.
The Lions are going to get their hands full.
Their prep feels a whole lot different.
Well, it definitely does. Now, let me just say this just through that real quick.
Yeah.
Where that defensive staff, you know where they came from? New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
So this won't be their first rodeo knowing how to defend this either, you know? So I'm interested to see how it all goes. I really am. It's a dicey situation.
It's a fun one.
It is a fun one.
There's a lot of predictability in the preseason, and even though the storyline might change a little bit with each game, this is an unexpected new fun one. So thank you, Kyle
We've never
Shanahan.
seen anything like
it's great.
it. We never seen anything like it. Like, listen, I don't think you're going to see. I know we're going to hit on this in a second. Like the Patriots, and there's no way. I don't think Bill Belichick would ever do that.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd ever do it. He made a comment after the game or this morning that I read where he was just like, they asked him about it, and he's like, well, no. He said something about like, I think we needed to tell our team who's playing and who's starting, not like let's keep everybody else guessing. He was like, no, it's about our team, and we got to start forming what we are.
Right.
And that's more of me and my thought process.
Yeah.
But Shanahan's a mad scientist, and like I said, if anybody can figure this out and pull it off, it's him.
Pete, can we jump order, reverse order here a little bit and go right to the Pats since Chris took there?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, Cam Newton.
Wait, do we one last thing? I'm sorry to cut you off. Do we have pictures or anything of Trey Lance? Pete, step the in and tell me to show the. Well, do it again.
I think he probably told me. And I listened to you, Pete. That's on me.
Yeah, he told me too. He told me too.
All
right. So let's take a look before we move on to the Patriots. Let's look at a few of the things they did here.
This is Trey Lance running the read option over
Trey Lance running their versions of the read options. This is going to be a handoff to Mostert. It's going to go to our left. The offense is right. Go ahead. Let's play it. Let's see the next snapshot. But you see right here, this is the first problem it causes for you. Who the f***'s got the ball? And there's no keys you can read on the offensive line, right? One side of the line's blocking down. The other side's pulling the other way. The back's going this way. I don't know if the back or the tailback's got the ball right now. So it creates great confusion for especially like the second level, the linebacker. I'm sure like 54 and 49er right now are like, oh shit, I don't know where this ball is or who's got it. Either way, it causes, in this picture, the left end number 51 to pause, and it gives Mostert the ability now to run around the corner and not be touched. Let's go to the next picture or the next frame there. So see, now they did their job. I don't know what he reads on this one as far as when he can keep it. They do have an unblocked guy on the end there that's kind of your lost and 60s blocking one guy, and there's another guy behind him. But either way, it makes 51 on the left pause there. Mostert, one of the fastest tailbacks in the game. Boom, he gets around the edge for, I'm going to say, what was it, a 15, 20-yard game? Yeah, 17-yard gain, Pete says. So that's a Lamar Jackson Baltimore scheme right there. And I'm interested to see, where that goes. But, yeah, I mean, I've seen, my thoughts on Shanahan.
Yeah.
And then you start doing some of that stuff with some play-action pass and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be a pain in the butt.
Makes me think maybe he had this in the back of mind the entire time.
I think so. I do think I said early on in the draft process or somewhere in there that I do think Shanahan was a little bit intrigued by a lot of people are trying to steal my offense. He's got a few coaches around the league now that are running his system, and this is like Trey Lance. I can bring a new element that unless you have a stud running quarterback, you're not going to be able to copy this stuff. And I do think, like to your point, it probably was in the back of his mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.